down this road before. We know how this works. Let's do it. Probably need to have the...
Done this once or twice or 410 times before.
Oh my gosh, I did it. I did a minute or an hour check on how many podcasts I've recorded in my lifetime of doing it. It's somewhere in the like 5,000, 6,000 hours or something.
Wow.
It's ridiculous.
So about half the time you spent playing WoW?
Kind of. Probably more time podcasting than playing the game.
Yeah, you probably have more slash plays.
Especially with TMS.
Yeah, TMS really bumped that number up for sure. But if you go all the way back to like pre-2004 Extra Life Radio stuff I was doing on my own, and then before that, even that Infiltration Radio show I did, so it was all MP3s. If you count all that stuff, we're probably in like the 7,000 or 8,000. It's disgusting, really. I don't want to think about it anymore. Let's see. We got these 2 calls. I got to just move over real quick. I totally forgot to do that. So one is going to be about the movie. It's right there. And then we got
at your funeral. I think we're going to sit around. We're all just going to listen to the entire thing, front to back.
All right. I like that idea.
Yeah.
And the good thing is that probably we're going to have a couple more of us who die while we're listening to this.
Yeah, exactly. Because we're all going to be pretty close to killing ourselves. Yeah. But it's going to be like that. What's that thing that Jewish people do? Shiva?
Shiva,
like
yeah.
Shiva. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
7 days straight.
Yeah, what do the Vulcans do? They got Ponfar.
Chair.
Yeah, we just get to be all emotional for 7 days or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
I'm going to go get more water.
Oh, my gosh. We were about to hit go, and now you're getting water.
Oh, okay. Go.
No, I'm teasing. Get water. Go. I was teasing you. I'm not going to be... What am I, some kind of horrible tyrant? Get water.
You can get water only if you send some to California.
They'll pay for it.
Yep. We need it.
We had the best couple weeks of rain that basically took us from iffy questions about how much snowfall we had in the mountains and then therefore our water supply to we're going to be just fine.
Yeah, that sounds nice.
Yeah, we got lucky. Although I hated those 2 weeks.
There was some rain in Southern California, so that's cool.
So the northern Californians are usually the ones that are better off, right?
All right, I'm ready.
Let's go. Yeah. No, it's actually though it's like the mid California. There's a lot of like dry, kind of brushy. It's just like I don't know. It's western almost in California, you know. And there's a lot of that that nobody knows about because nobody lives there. You know?
Dry and brushy, right?
They're completely out of water.
Yeah. The older I get, the more dry and brushy I get. By the way, I've noticed something I've noticed lately.
You're having a little drought of your own, personal drought.
A little bit. And the brushy part, I don't like that so much.
Scott. You need to moisturize.
The hair on the top grows slower. The hair in the ears and the nose grows faster. Something's backwards. I don't know what's happening. All right. Here we go. We're gonna start. Thanks for being here, everybody. It begins in 3, 2. I'm gonna play. Where's the intro? Oh, 3, 2, 1.
You're listening to The Instance.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to The Instance. This is The Instance, the World of Warcraft podcast, and all things Blizzard show. I'm Scott Johnson. I'm joined today by Patrick from France. Hello, Patrick.
Hey, I'm especially from France today for those watching the show instead of listening to it.
Why is that?
I am sporting a white button shirt and a scarf.
Ooh.
Yeah.
What are you wearing below the waist?
Oh, nothing, of course.
Oh, well, all right. Then you're truly French today. Truly
yeah,
French.
Exactly. Exactly.
He's got his big, weird, unshaven wiener out.
What?
Also with us.
I did not expect you to go that far, Scott. We had to leave it in innuendo.
I had a lot.
And now I feel compelled to confirm that I'm actually not wearing nothing. I'm wearing pants.
All right. Well, I have this thing where I drink. I like chai tea in the morning, and this morning I spilled it all over myself, and I'm blaming it for the terrible things I'm about to say on the show. So take that. Also, right. Dills is with us. Hello, Dills.
Hi, I'm especially from America today.
Yeah.
I'm wearing jorts and a fanny pack and my American flag tank top and a trucker hat, and I'm smoking Marlboros and my junk is in an apple pie.
Good. Good. Wow. You know, you've really covered all your bases.
I just want to make sure that I feel American when I wake up in the morning,
well,
you know?
It feels right to me.
because I love this country.
Isn't fanny pack in your neck of the woods, Patrick, or at least in Terpsters, is like vagina pack? It doesn't mean right.
Well, no, it's just
We have
in the UK, a fanny is
Is a
female
JJ.
genitalia.
Okay.
And but for us, a fanny pack, or at least the item, conjures the image of German tourists. So associated with that are socks and sandals,
Yes.
which is the most
That's the
the
uniform.
biggest cardinal sin you can do to fashion.
Can you point me to the Louvre? We are wearing our fanny packs, yeah, like that. All right.
That is exactly how your day ends up being filled if you walk around.
You walk
Paris.
around the Louvre. Yeah.
I'm a gigantic stereotype German fan, so bring it on. We are here. We don't have Terpster. I don't know where he is. He said he'd be here, but he's about doing things, I suppose, and maybe he'll pop in. We've added him to the call. He may pop in and frighten us all with
He'll just
terms
suddenly
like,
go, hello,
Yep.
at some point.
or this.
Le dick.
He might say that.
Yeah, that could happen too.
He could say,
I was sent back to the future to bring you great laws.
he might do that.
You know what? I don't even miss him. I'm
Yeah.
It's fine.
We don't really need it. We just need those sound drops.
It's
There he is laughing. Yeah, he's everywhere you want him to be.
you know what we need?
What?
Actually, what we actually need. We need Terpster to go into the Apple offices at HQ and record his voice to create a Siri voice. Like the special UK voice that would be Terpster's. That would be amazing.
I would pay for that. I would pay for that. You'd make a wrong turn in your car and it would go
Le dick.
and you'd feel bad and you'd go the other way again. Amazing. And if you missed your destination altogether, he'd say,
Oh, shit.
all right. And then if he says, oh, you got an appointment at 3, and it would say,
Check it.
see, it's perfect. We already have it. What do you mean? We have all the recording.
Yeah. This Terpster Siri already exists.
Yeah. Anyway, he may pop in. We'll see. If you want to hear Terpster fresh off a podcast, though, you can listen to the latest episode of Hypothetical Help, episode 2, the new rebooted season, version 2.0, which is at hypotheticalhelp.com right now. And we had a good time, so go check that out. All right, let's talk about video games. You know what I'm going to do? We're going to just jump right into this. Here we go. Whoops, not that. That's the wrong file. This one right here. All right, let's not dilly-dally around. Let's get straight to it. Some interesting stuff from Ian Hazzikostas. I hope I say his name right.
Hazzikostas.
Yeah. Because do we know what what is the origin of that name? What is his ethnic background? Do we know?
Greek. I don't know how far back
Greek, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That sounds Greek to me. He talked a lot about the loss of the 3 million players, the great fabled losing of so many players that was talked about by us pretty extensively on the show last week, but of course in their earnings call just previous to that. And had a lot of really interesting things to say in this interview, I thought anyway. Here's just a few. I broke out some of the stuff I thought was interesting. He said, WoW released at the right time and has been a very adaptable game, which has helped sustain it over the years. Other MMOs provide inspiration on how we make the game better. That's an interesting point that I don't ever hear them talk about. Everyone looks at them as the big leader, but I'm sure when the likes of... just from a, overarching sort of design perspective, when other games like Guild Wars 2 or something else comes out and they introduce something kind of cool, there's got to be a tendency on their part to want to look at that, decide if there's anything worth iterating there on. Certainly other games do it with WoW. There's no question about that. But you never really hear about how they're inspired. I mean, WoW's original inception came from their inability to stop playing EverQuest every weekend in the office.
Do you think the first part of this quote I think is interesting? Do you think that this WoW just released at the right time? Like, do you think if Rift came out first?
Rift as feature complete as Rift it was when it came out? Yeah, I think Rift could have
it wouldn't have
dominated.
been without WoW, I guess. I don't know. It's weird, but I'm like there. He's kind of downplaying like why they're like, oh, we just put it out at the right time. Like we hit the MMO market at the right time.
Yeah, and I don't find that disingenuous, but I find it not true.
I think WoW was the right game also.
Sure.
Like you can't just say it was the right time. Like it was also the game was really, really good.
Yeah.
I'm sure he doesn't mean it as well. We just it was the right month.
No, yeah, it's downplaying it a little bit.
It's but I mean there's certainly a confluence of elements. I mean it was everything congregated to create that the right conditions for the game to blossom in the way it has. It was the right game at the right time, but I think there's some truth to the fact that it was also at the right time. The world was ready for that's half of it. I mean, definitely you basically take the best possible version of an MMO for that moment and bring it at the time when MMOs were becoming popular enough that they were a topic of interest for a lot more gamers than they had been in the past.
People wanted to try them. Yeah.
It's kind of a strange situation though, and I've thought a lot about this. It wasn't like there was a lack of new projects coming out. There wasn't a lack of MMOs hitting the market. They weren't having the kind of impact, obviously, as seismically as Blizzard would, but there were plenty of things to play, and they were innovating in their own small ways, but it was on such a slow evolutionary track that it seems like we wouldn't have gotten what WoW brought for a very long time had they not stepped in and done it. And I don't know, that maybe that just speaks to their ethic or what they do in terms of design, and they're not going to release something until it's really fun. They want to be sure about it being good before it goes or whatever. Maybe all that plays into it, but it seems like we were on this very slow incline. And then Blizzard comes along and goes, and now suddenly it's this very steep incline, and now everybody's like, oh, we gotta match that. And then they try really hard, and they fail to succeed in some ways, fail in other ways. But there's WoW still sticking out as this big, giant example of this drastic increase in what you can expect from an MMO. And in a way, it almost defeated the evolutionary chain, because then people stopped making games based on new ideas, new thoughts, new concepts, and started making games at their core that felt like Warcraft, and then branched from that. So Rift and the Star Wars game and a million others, they all have the same kind of action bar setup. It's all based on cooldowns. It's all this third-person thing. It's all very much like what WoW did. And in a way, they stunted other ideas. Yeah.
That's because they basically they were initiated because of WoW. So they were trying to explicitly replicate the success that WoW met. But to speak to what you were saying initially, the reason why WoW was so different from the games that inspired it was the fact that, well, at the time and still today, the developers at Blizzard, there's such a special, different kind of culture at Blizzard. And the best proof for that is the fact that you can take developers in and out of the company, and not only does the company remain the same, the developers, when they get transferred, how many games have we seen that were from ex-Blizzard developers?
It happens all the time.
They might be good games, but they don't have the incredible magic sauce that makes Blizzard games so special. And so Blizzard, I don't know how they foster that, but they certainly do. And they are willing to look at a game and not have anything sacred. The MMOs before WoW came had many, many sacred elements that they would never alter, even though they were a problem for the gameplay. One of the most striking one was the fact that death needed to be punishing. And things evolved in MMOs before WoW, but it never got to the point where death was little more than an annoyance. It was always a very frustrating experience to die.
It's a time suck now. It's not this like gold suck, experience suck.
Item suck. Kind of like at Dark Age of Camelot, people don't remember this. It was really big into that game for a while, which came prior to WoW, and I left for WoW. But it had this I don't know what it's like today, and I know it still runs, but the death system at the time was very punishing. Not only would you lose gold, I think, or money, or I can't remember how it worked, platinum, whatever they called it, but you would also lose huge chunks of experience. And the more you died, the more XP you would lose. And so you'd have to run back, pray to a grave to get a portion of that experience back. If you didn't, you lost that entire bit. So you were I mean, that would never fly today in anything
big
new.
Grinding levels incredible.
Oh gosh, that was, and and the way you grind levels in that,
you would lose your items in EverQuest initially if you didn't get your corpse back. It was very, very punishing. And so for every game that they've created, and you see it today with games like I don't play Heroes enough to know the intricacies of the gameplay, but certainly they have done away with some of the sacred elements of MOBA.
Yeah.
Same with Hearthstone. Same with
even Diablo over Diablo 2 even is like, they said, you know what, death was too punishing in 2. Sorry, we're going to make it so it's kind of a pain, and you have limited numbers of times you can pop back in there, and you got to run back from the entrance sometimes or whatever, but they got rid of that thing, which was you buck naked with none of your shit, and you had to run all the way back to, freaking some dungeon in the middle of nowhere and find the stuff, work your way around the butcher, and pick up your crap again.
Pick up your stuff again.
Oh my gosh, that was bad.
Yeah.
The thing is like they realize that's not fun. Like people like I think there are people who miss that kind of stuff because they wanted to feel challenging, right?
Right.
But in the reality, even though that might have been challenging, it was maybe fun once or twice because it was interesting and weird and different. But the 20th, 30th time you do that, it's not fun at all anymore, and it's just a nuisance. It just keeps you from playing the game.
Yeah, I think it's fun for some people. There's always a
some
portion
people
of
like
the player base, right?
Yeah, some people like to punish themselves. I get it.
Right, some people like whipping themselves. No, I don't want to. I'm with Patrick on the fact that I don't want to discount that. In fact, there's a reason hardcore still exists in Diablo as an example. Or there
needs to be games for those types of people.
Absolutely,
like, that's the thing. Like, there has to be games for those types of people.
There are people who swear by what's the incredibly complicated talent tree game, the Diablo-like. It's not Divinity.
Path of Exile?
Path of Exile.
Yeah, Path of Exile is pretty crazy.
Pretty hard.
It's really cool game, but I got my head exploded.
Yeah,
I was just like, I don't know how to build a good thing.
And it's even graphically and even everything. It's very Diablo 2 like Path of Exile. But it's some people love this, and there are some people who love the kinds of games that Blizzard takes and gets inspired by. But again, with Hearthstone, they did things to collect to card games that would have been unthinkable. I mean, if you had imagine a world before Hearthstone.
Okay, all right.
3 years ago.
Okay.
You go to a Magic convention.
Imagine.
And you go to people and you say, I have an awesome idea for a card game. It's going to be kind of like Magic, but you're not going to have mana. You're not going to need to tap lands to get your mana. You would have been lynched. It would have been, it's unthinkable.
No, well, there was some of that lynching happening when the game was announced, and they started talking about simplified resource systems and stuff. And I remember the internet kind of throwing a cow about it and saying, well, wait, you can't. How do you have a card game without all that stuff?
Well, people called it, like kitty magic or whatever and stuff like that. But you know what, though? Like, you can look at a lot of different areas of life or gaming or whatever. Like, look at things like poker, right? If you look at what some of the top pros actually play, they don't play Texas Hold'em, right? But what became super popular?
Yeah.
Texas Hold'em, the game where you get 2 cards.
Right.
And it's like, I look at these 2 cards, and then I make my decision on what I do. Whereas the other guys are playing, all these crazy stud games and stuff.
Right.
And just,
7-card stud.
Omaha high-low,
right.
split the pot. And that's the games those guys are playing because there's so much actual skill involved, and there's a lot of things to think about. And it's a crazy game.
Yeah.
But you want to sell poker to everybody, you better give me 2 cards and say we share the rest of the card. Like, that's how it's going to work. And I think Blizzard is like realizing, like, if you want to give these games this cool MOBA experience, right, that we all think is really fun, or this cool Magic experience that we all think is fun, and we want to give it to everybody. Mm-hmm. We want everyone to get to feel this.
Yeah.
Well, we can't make it impossible to learn how to do it.
Right.
And that sucks, man.
Part of it is just them wanting they just want it to be fun, period. Like, what is fun? What's fun for them? Yeah. What's the thing they least like about their late Friday nights at the office playing Magic? Well, let's take some of that stuff out. Like, and then what do we replace that with? How do we make this still deep and
it still has a lot of cool strategy going. If you watched Heroes of the Dorm, you realize that that's not Kitty League. And Hearthstone, if you've watched some Strife Crow plays, It's not kitty magic.
No.
It's the easy to learn, hard to master kind of thing.
Of course.
That really gets people hooked in and keeps them there. So
now some have said that Blizzard launched Warcraft. And at the time, people don't remember this, but everybody was crying. It's too simple. EverQuest is better. This is kiddie MMO. I mean, it's the same arguments were being made.
Yeah, same arguments.
I remember it like clear as day. All this stuff that was happening around that game when it launched, and then people forget because some people their first MMO was WoW. Now WoW, this many years later, has simplified a lot of systems. You can kind of see where they're coming from.
We have kitty WoW compared to old boy. Yeah,
because we in a way we kind of do. But isn't this just the same iteration process? Aren't we just barking at the same tree?
I think it's just more. People are confusing difficulty with accessibility. People think that if there is something that is obscure and obtuse, then it is more difficult. It's not more difficult. You just need to research and find out and just do it. It's not like
time.
It's not like suddenly because you completed a raid in vanilla WoW or EverQuest. It's not like you actually ran an Olympic, I don't know, marathon or something. You didn't do something inherently super difficult. If you want to do something difficult, you can go to the raids now in WoW, and it is actually difficult. It's not easy, but it's more accessible. You understand what you need to do more easily. It's more inclusive, and some people enjoy different, as we were saying, different aspects of games, and that's fine. But I don't think that. In the case of Blizzard, they make things that are kiddie anything. They are themselves very hardcore gamers, and they want, they're not doing a game like, if you want to look at a game that is extremely simple, things like, I don't know, the phone games like Angry Birds or Endless Runners, stuff like that.
Sure.
Those, I think I would agree, they're simple enough that you could say they're kiddie games, but still, some of them might be difficult to complete, or I don't know.
I think there's just such a negative connotation to the term kiddie games that it actually doesn't do any of us in the gaming world any sort of favors, because all they are is just different experiences for different people at different times. And I love a good endless runner, especially one that does ramp up in difficulty, gets faster, gets harder. But it's a great way to pass time because I'm in the dental office doing nothing. Like there's a place for that. There's a place for mythic raiding too on the other side of this, where it's very hard and very coordinated. And there's a place for casual heroes play, and there's a place for Hero League play where you're really having to show your freaking steel. So the entire thing just seems like a big silly mess. And part of this is this week especially, there's been a lot of emails and stuff back and forth about whether or not Blizzard dropped the ball on this expansion. Even though some of the same people that were telling me that are the ones that were saying that was the best expansion they ever played.
Well, yeah, they loved it at first, and now they're going, oh, my God, they dropped the ball.
Yeah, there's a lot of Fairweather fan stuff going on right now that's kind of getting under my skin.
It's reactionary. The internet is inherently reactionary. I mean, I go to these Reddit, like these subreddit threads for, like, the Warriors are in the playoffs right now, and I go to those subreddit threads, and everybody, it's like when the Warriors won the first game, everyone goes, oh, the Warriors are the best team. They're going to sweep the series. Then they lose the second game. They're like, the Warriors suck, man. I didn't realize how much they suck. They're going to totally lose.
Some of the same people. Game, it's
great. It's like it's just all nobody remembers what happened the day before. It's just whatever was happening now must be the thing.
Well, aside from all that, my big thing is I just like honesty. So my honest take on WoW right now is the initial punch of that expansion was amazing. Right now I'm bored a little bit. There's things to do, and I'm still, I raid here and there, but I'm not as engaged as I wish I was, and that's just the truth. So everyone just embrace whatever your own personal truth is. It's going to be different for everybody. Some of you rage quit when something like that happens. Some of you stick around forever, and some people never think anything's wrong with the game, and some people think everything's wrong with the game. And to just sort of blanket everybody who emailed this week, just like what you like and don't like what you don't like. It's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, I like a lot of things that involve kind of grindiness and stuff, because there are moments where I want to do that, where I just want to kind of sit and grind something just for a little bit. But I don't like it when it's my main game, right?
Yeah.
Like there are certain points in my WoW career where I did like grinding stuff, And eventually that just kind of got old.
Yeah.
I still want to play the game. I just don't want to grind as much.
Yeah.
So.
I just want to keep owning the fools and heroes, which I'm really...
Things like earning rep 10 points at a time and stuff just for a repetitive action.
Yeah.
Those things aren't fun anymore, right?
Yeah. We're past all that, I think, or getting to the point where we are. He also went on to say, to bring this all the way back to this interview. It's a good discussion, don't get me wrong, but here we are back at the interview. Players don't, he says this, players don't play WoW year-round anymore. They just come back for the new content and then go off to other games. To some extent, that's okay. The team doesn't want to prevent people from playing that way. It's an interesting perspective, and also I think you could be cynical and say that that's them being too aloof and not trying hard enough, or you could look at it and say they accept the realities of this business and they don't want to go contrary to what players actually want. And if in this case players want a burst of Warcraft and then they're going to trail off, and who are they to say that they can change that or stop that? There's probably two very specific points of view on that, but I think it's an interesting thing for him to say with PR present, because it can be interpreted in a lot of ways, I think.
Yeah, well, there are a couple of things. First of all, it's true. I think that's inevitably what is happening. It's also probably the best spin you can put on it. You just, as we were discussing last episode, there was a huge spike, and then it went back down. It's very expected. But what are you going to say? You're not going to say, oh, my God, it's doom. We're going to lose. WoW is finished. Of course, the best thing you can say is, this is what we expect. And it's not that surprising. I think the other side of this, which is what he wouldn't say and Blizzard wouldn't say, is, well, it kind of sucks. They would obviously prefer that the game kept going up forever. Mm-hmm. But that's also the reality of what it is now, and that's how you answer that question that you're going to be asked. That the journalists are going to say, wow, so 3 million players lost. What do you think about that? He's not going to, break down and start crying.
Sure.
So that would be kind of interesting, though.
I like your take on this, because you specifically had a position in PR at Blizzard before leaving recently, and you probably had to be in meetings or whatever where these kinds of questions come up.
He
and
wanted
these kinds
to break
of
down
answers.
and start
Of course.
crying.
Sure.
But yeah, no. So basically, not just in video games, but in PR in general, when you have someone who has an interview that you have to prepare for, you sort of try to anticipate all of the quote unquote tough questions that you're going to be asked, and you try to craft answers that are going to be the best answers you can get. And that's how it works at every gaming company ever that does interviews, in every company, period. Of course the people who give interviews have to be prepped. It's obviously what's going to happen. So know when you hear an interview from anyone that the answers they give are the best answers that the PR people could come up with. And sometimes they go off script, and that's when the PR people go put their, hands in their faces in their hands, and they're like, oh my God, please don't say something silly. And usually it doesn't happen. And sometimes I'm just reminded of that, the Ubisoft
the apology
Assassin's
video
Creed comments from a year ago. And I can, you could feel the poor PR person sitting next to the interviewee going like, no, please don't say that.
That's funny you brought that up, because they just put out that apology video, and I was commenting earlier this week. They were essentially apologizing for Unity being kind of a buggy pile of poo, and I've never really seen a big publisher do that before. And then it reminded me, no, I kind of have, when Blizzard put guys in front of a camera and apologized for the auction house and Diablo and how it janked the game up, and that they were going to be taking it out. It's not all that different. So, I give Blizzard a bigger pass because they have a better track record, maybe. But perhaps this is just Ubisoft doing the same thing. Not to turn this into an Ubisoft thing, but I thought that was interesting to see them, grovel to the feet of the players.
I think it was very courageous of Ubisoft to do it like that. I think it's really commendable. And ultimately, what really matters is that the next Assassin's Creed, Syndicate, is a good game and doesn't suffer the issues that Unity did. But they could. I'm certain there was a long discussion at Ubisoft PR on whether or not they should address the elephant in the room, or whether they should pretend that nothing ever happened. And acknowledging the issue, bringing it back as a topic of discussion, is not an easy decision to make. I think it was the right one, because I think ultimately your customers reward honesty. And that is something that Blizzard has always done. I think that Blizzard is a very honest company. When they mess up, they own up to it, and they don't mess up too often, I have to say. But for a company like Ubisoft, which has enormous stakes riding on the release of the next Assassin's Creed, to go, because it's not like they mentioned it in passing. It was like a 2 or 3 minutes segment on how it affected the team and what it meant for them and how they were going to. So anyway, yeah, I think it was really courageous of them, and it should be commended. If anyone thinks that, this should be mocked, then I disagree.
I don't know what to do with those people. All of that being said, I think Syndicate looks pretty good. Just saying. I mean, it's all surface. It's all surface, because who knows? But it looks really good to me. So Unity
looked amazing even when it came out, but that wasn't its issues.
I can tell you this: I know there's a lot of internal chatter from various people at Blizzard. You know what game they're all real excited about right now? The Witcher 3. That's all they're all talking about.
It looks amazing, though.
Who isn't excited?
I'm pretty excited. I'm getting it.
So did you pull the trigger?
Yeah, I did. I pre-ordered it. I decided it was time. Yeah, no, I got it on Steam.
On Steam?
Yeah. What? Did Good Old Games have some hot deal, or what? Did I miss something?
Well, there's a deal, but most of all, it's DRM free.
Oh.
I don't know if that.
Oh, I don't care. I love Steam.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm all in on Steam. I know Steam is, whatever. Good Old Games versus Steam. There's definitely some advantages there, or whatever. But I love Steam. I have so many games in Steam. It's disgusting.
I don't have a problem with their DRM.
So here's an interesting thing, and we talked about it last week. In fact, I think Bill's talked a lot about this. I can't remember for sure, but they said there was a large spike in subscribers for Warlords, but they knew there was going to be, quote, a bit of a dip after that. I think that's a little understatement. However, they go on to say that the WoW token did not have that drastic impact on number of subscribers that people maybe suspected, and it wasn't even part of those numbers. So what do you?
So the dip was 100% of the spike. That's the thing,
right?
And that's, so they say a bit of a dip. The dip was all of it. The dip was all of the spike. So they lost all of the people who came, what that does just kind of prove the point that they said, that players don't play WoW year round anymore. They come back and then they leave. Mm-hmm. So people came back, and those same people pretty much left. Yeah. And I think what you're left with is around, like you can say, there's around 7 million people who just kind of want to always have WoW right now. Yeah. Will those people stay? That depends on what they do next. And I don't know if they really think that they messed up with this expansion. I think they tried a lot of new things. They tried changing some very core aspects of the game. But I don't know if you could go to Blizzard and say, like, did you guys make a bad expansion? And they would say, yeah, we did. Like, I think they would just say, we did things differently than we did before, and we're going to do things differently again the next time. Yeah. And one of these times it's going to be the exact right thing or whatever. Like, I don't know. You got to keep trying different.
It is interesting though. It's based, like you said last week, and the more I thought about it, the more I agree. It was really just a 1-for-1 deal. They got these 3 million new people or returning people, and then the equivalent number of people left.
But when the next bit of content comes out, like if they put these earnings calls out right after the next raid hit, but they don't do that. They don't do it by the game cycles, right? Mm-hmm. But if they were to do that, I'll bet you that there's 1.5 million people who kind of come back when the very next raid hits, right? Mm-hmm. These are people who just came in, maybe they finished on LFR and then they're out, and they'll come back again later. And they just don't want to pay every single month. Yeah, and they'll just come in and pay a month here, a month there when they want to try out the new stuff, and then they'll leave. But again, when you're dropping down to your mean of 7 million, right, or whatever, if that is the shelf that they can sit comfortably at, they're always going to be comfortable. Yeah. It's when they go down to 3 million, 2 million, 1 million.
Yeah.
then it's like, well, this game maybe not working.
Well,
anymore.
good news, everyone. They banned the equivalent of some MMOs' entire player bases a couple of days ago.
Crazy.
200,000 botters, or people accused of using a very popular botting suite of software / hackery business, were kicked from the game. And they said this: we've recently taken action against a large number of World of Warcraft accounts that were found to be using third-party programs that automate gameplay, known as bots. We're committed to providing an equal and fair playing field for everyone in World of Warcraft. We'll continue to take action against those found in violation of our terms of use. Cheating of any form will not be tolerated. Then they encourage people to sort of submit when they think somebody is. Bashiok, who, by the way, is in Salt Lake City this weekend. I'm thinking of kidnapping him and not returning him to Blizzard. He's there for a wedding. But
What's
anyway,
he doing? Oh, okay.
he said that on Twitter. He said, here's an easy way to understand this. If software is pushing buttons for you, you're in violation. Somebody then piped up and says, oh, so macros mean I'm in like with the whole macro question. And he said, no, those are buttons that you create. You're tying abilities together into buttons that you still need to press. So if you have a bot pressing your macro buttons, then yes, you're in direct violation. And that's really what it comes down to. Like, actions in the game being taken by some other source that is not you, the human, that will put you in violation. So if anybody out there is using stuff like that, I suppose this 200K banning is meant to not only get rid of those people, but also to send out a warning shot to say, look, we're not kidding around. So there you go.
Yeah, it's interesting that they do these all at once, though. To me, it's interesting that this just doesn't happen.
Oh, incrementally over time, right?
Yeah, over time, like they figure out, like there's just like a guy on the case. Like it just kind of seems like they're aware, and then they go, all right, pull the trigger on that.
I wonder about that, Patrick. Do you have any insight on that?
I mean, I know I think there's a specific team in charge of this. I can't remember. Obviously,
it's just a due diligence thing, like
how it works.
They just need to make sure.
Yeah, I think they mentioned it. Yeah, no, but they mentioned it in public communications a couple of times, because it takes time to understand exactly. I honestly, don't quote me on this, I'm not certain, but it has to do with making sure that the understanding what the bots do and what the new bot programs do, and making sure that you once you bring down the hammer, you ban the right people and not have too many false positives, or I think it has to do with that. And bots are constantly evolving. It's not like you can have, the bot banning program engage, and then constantly it's going to scan the entire player base and get the bots out. They have to make sure that they have to identify the bots, make sure to find the way of banning them, etc., etc. So
sure. Now that makes sense, but
it's more complicated than
it's like
the
Olympics.
We deal with this at my company too on a smaller scale, but like trying to get rid of spam accounts, because people use our website to post ads essentially, because it's it's a podcast hosting site, and we constantly have to find out how they're doing it this week.
Yeah,
because they're figuring out new ways to kind of, like, it used to be just like brute force. They'd get in and make a bunch of accounts, and now it's a little more subtle, and they're getting around to the things we've already put in. And so people are getting they're getting more sophisticated, while your methods of getting rid of them is getting more sophisticated.
It's definitely a security, and it's the way of security. But it's reminds me, funny enough, of like the way the Olympics work. Like if you go testing for drugs, little do the testing folks know that they're way ahead on undetectables. And by the time you can detect it, they've moved on to something that is also detectable. The difference here is, Blizzard can say, well, all right, 200,000 people who thought we couldn't detect this latest bot, which is, I think, my understanding is that's what's going on. At least some of the chatter on forums and stuff seems to support it. Who knows? A lot of it could be rumor, but the idea that this was just discovered as a new, brand or a new flavor of botting, and Blizzard said, all right, find out whoever is using this. Now we got them, go. But the botters are probably on to the next phase by now. So
yeah,
it's the way it works. Yeah.
Well, it's a constant, it's cat and mouse. It's a constant battle, but obviously I saw a few comments on Reddit when people got banned. There were a couple of people coming to Reddit and saying, I found out that some of my closest friends and like family were botting, and I had no idea. And because botting is it's cheating, and I don't want to get back into the entire debate again. But it was funny that some people realized that people that they thought they knew that they wouldn't bought actually did.
Oh, yeah.
And
a lot of people do it a lot of people do it just because they don't want to do that grindy thing again, like what you're talking about.
Now, do you think I'm in violation of terms if I guess I could read them, but if I had Nick, because he's done this for me before, I'm like, Nick, I need you to clear out all the quests in this zone for this level 20 guy. Please
That's
go
account
do that
sharing,
for me.
Scott.
Yeah.
That's actually why.
Theory,
yeah, that's why like Wreckful was banned, because he had some other guy. People have said, oh, it's because he played some other guy's paladin account or something to like figure out if he wanted to level a paladin.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure it was actually just because he had somebody else like doing stuff for him while he wasn't playing. But anyway.
Yeah.
But it was essentially that.
It was years ago,
Blizzard.
For you. Yeah. It was like 7 years ago, Blizzard. So everything's
I
fine
think
now.
that there's a certain levels where they go, all right, like if I say, like if I have a friend over and I'm like, hey, you want to try the game real quick? Like that's not the same thing. But saying like, will you go in here and spend 8 hours getting me a Drake?
Right.
Then it's a
no,
little bit of a different thing.
even that. Honestly, I don't even think that's the problem. I think where account sharing becomes an issue is if you have two people playing on the same account, and it's like I play in the morning, you play in the afternoon, and we essentially have to buy the game just once, and we both play.
Yeah.
That is where the account sharing is going to be an issue for Blizzard, but. In theory,
people
I
don't
believe
usually
that
use it that way. They usually use it to try to get some achievement done that's really hard to get by yourself.
Sure,
of course, yeah.
Sure. Or mounts
like
or whatever.
in Hearthstone, people do it where like multiple people play the same account to make sure it gets like #1 legend, like it gets enough games in or something.
Oh, because one guy's playing at night, the other guy's playing in the day,
and then because you got to get in so many games, and so two really good players can kind of collude, and then maybe they can go on another account that's also legend, and then if we happen to queue into each other, I just concede to the account that's actually trying to get #1 legend, and then we get Blizzard points, and we go to BlizzCon.
Yeah, but that's actually win trading. It's a lot
but it's
worse than just account. Yeah.
Oh.
It's definitely worse. It's a combination of the things.
Oh,
like
people
are doing a lot of stuff.
People are connivers, man. That's the way it is.
Yes, they are.
10 years of Leroy Jenkins. Just wanted to mention this fact. You know what? Let's play my favorite part of that video because the rest of it doesn't matter to me. This one does.
Let's do this. Leroy!
No, not that part. That's not the part.
At least I have chicken.
There it is. At least I have chicken.
There you go.
At least I have chicken.
Play it again. Play it again.
All right, I'm going to play the whole thing again. You ready? Here we go.
Let's do this. Leroy Jenkins! At least I have chicken.
There you go. The chicken part's the best part.
That is the best.
You know, the worst part is, okay, here's two of the best parts. One, it was this huge meme. Two, it came out almost directly right after YouTube even started. Like this, people forget YouTube is just barely 10 years old itself. So it's weird.
Yeah, it was like one of the first kind of big things that came from YouTube. It became like a social thing. It was everywhere, not just with WoW.
If there is a hill or a mountain paved with memes that made YouTube the king of the meme generation, you have to include the Leroy Jenkins video. The downside of it is it was fake. That's the only part.
Oh, yeah.
The part I don't
It
like.
doesn't matter.
It matters a little. Just a little bit.
A little. Yeah.
But it's, I don't know, it's fine. It's a cool thing that people were getting together using World of Warcraft to make funny. It's a skit on World of Warcraft, you know?
Yeah, but it was presented as real, and then they denied it for a long time, and then they finally said, oh, it's a recreation.
Reality TV, so, you know?
And anyone who plays WoW and who watches this, you know, it's funny that at the time we weren't sure whether or not it was real, because what they're saying is completely ridiculous. You know, like I ran the numbers, and I think we have, like, I come up with a 32% chance of survival, and like it's no one who played in BlackRock. Upper BlackRock Spire at the time would have done that. It's completely silly.
Yeah.
And the fact that people were wondering, and when I say people, I mean I include myself. I wasn't playing all that much at the time, so I didn't realize. You know, I was still a wee mage grinding through the early levels, and I was like, oh wow, maybe that's actually an actual thing that happened. And of course not. It's obvious. Go and check it out again. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, but some of that stuff, like you said, like I wasn't raiding in 05, so I didn't know. And it sounded real when I first saw it, and then when I found out it wasn't, and I heard it was based on something that happened, so they recreated
that's what ratings like. There's a lot of number crunching.
Yeah,
and stuff.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
I'm telling you, it would not have been the meme it was had people known it was fake from the get-go. I'm telling you that is absolutely 100% true. There's no
of
way.
course. I think people looked at it and people were and they were like, "Oh, holy crap! This is what this WoW game is, and look at the funny people playing this game, and look at what happens. That's what they're doing all day in their dark rooms." That was certainly a factor of it. But,
Sure. Anyway,
but even beyond this, I think. Do you remember back when like half of YouTube was essentially WoW videos? It was enormous. You would have machinima everywhere, and it was like there was an entire subculture that sprang from WoW that was WoW YouTube videos. There were so many of them. There were songs and scripted stories,
it's
and
quite literally the Minecraft of its time, because Minecraft right now is just that's the thing on YouTube.
There also wasn't this like Twitch thing that we have now, so a lot of people were watching gameplay on YouTube, right? So you were going to find like the number one warrior PvPer, and he'd put together like a 10-minute highlight reel of him killing people in old school, at Wrathy Basin or whatever, and that was awesome because that was the only way you could really consume that. And I was on YouTube all the time looking for stuff like that.
And now Minecraft, it's funny, Minecraft dominates YouTube, but not so much Twitch. It's up there, but it's not like the one that it's not in the top 5 ever.
There's one guy who's always at the top, but yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like, it's for whatever reason, YouTube seemed like a better home. Yeah, it's funny. This stuff.
It is. You can edit your video up a little bit and stuff. It doesn't have to, because live, it's like there's a lot of running around doing nothing.
A lot of downtime. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which you could argue, WoW. I don't know, some of that.
Same way.
Well,
WoW actually isn't very popular on Twitch at all.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's true. It's in the top
pretty
15
low. And
or
I think
something.
it's because people don't really like watching rating as much. The top streamers are all PvPers.
Yeah.
Rating's a little tough to watch because you're not there. It's tough to see what's going on. The UI is very complex, whereas PvP, it's like these battles, these short battles.
Hey guys,
you get to see like, oh, he won, he lost. Whatever.
Guess what? Esports here to stay. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, people like the esports.
Yeah, if you like the esports, you're in. Yeah.
What was the Druid rap song?
Druid
do you remember that one?
Yeah. Hold on, we're gonna find it. Druid rap.
Resto Druid rap song?
No, it was a Laser
I
Chicken
want to be
rap
feral. Druid rap Kamehameha. I don't know.
Here it is.
Chat
these are all from
was like,
2009.
Was it this one? I'll play it.
I want to be feral.
Is this the one?
No.
Okay, hold on. Boy, that was terrible.
It went like Druid. Do you remember?
No.
No.
Okay,
Chat room.
Resto Druid. Here's this one. Tell me if this is it. Okay, hold on. Let me skip ahead. That's not it.
No. If it was like Drew, then it sounds like you're saying it's like the Soldier Boy song.
Yes, that's what
okay.
it was.
Oh, so what's it called?
So look up like Druid Soldier Boy or something like that.
All right, I know this is dumb to do on live thing, but I think this would be great. So hold
Crank
on.
Crank that Druid boy. There you go.
What is it? Crank
Crank that. Yeah, DAT. Druid boy.
Okay, here it is. Here we go, folks. This is it.
Boy, chicken wing.
This is so old.
Got this new dance called the Druid Boy.
Skip
All you gotta
ahead.
do is now watch me. Crank that Druid, now watch me. Crank that Druid, now watch me.
The video is just nothing but Chicken Form doing his dance.
It is amazing.
That's
great.
And hilarious.
2008, by the way, so that's a little more recent. But
Wow.
yeah, crazy. Anyway, well, that was fun. Hey, I got some a couple of details about heroes I think people in WoW might be excited about. There's some new stuff coming, including this. It was data mined from 6.2. When you reach level 20 in Heroes of the Storm, you'll receive Graves, a new pet based on the big Grave Golem in the Mines level of Heroes of the Storm. What was it called? What was it? Dark Mines, Lost Mines, Dead Mines? Dead Mines?
Dead Mines.
I think that's it.
Wait, no, not Dead Mines.
What is it? Something.
It's not Dead Mines.
The Lost Mines.
Dead Mines is the 5-minute one.
Whatever. The one where you go underground and gather skulls. That one. You get one of those as a pet. I assume it's what would be the classification? WoW. Just they don't have undead as a qualification. Whatever it is. It's not creature.
Haunted Minds.
Yeah, Haunted Minds. That's it. Anyway, you can get him as a pet in World of Warcraft. His name is Graves. And also, there's a Hearthstone card back, portrait borders, and other stuff are also revealed.
The Hearthstone card back is amazing.
Dude, if you saw the video with the Hearthstone card back as the mount in Heroes?
Well, yeah, so so if you have 100 wins in Hearthstone, you get the mount in Heroes, the Hearthstone mount. Yeah.
It's a card, like a magic carpet card.
Right, on a Hearthstone card. Yeah.
Amazing. And then
you
on
can
the
already
other side,
get essentially it's a reskin. You can already get a magic carpet.
That's true, yeah.
So, but it's still awesome.
So the other, I bought the Tiger, by the way, because I'm a giant sucker and I had to do it. The freaking, what was I gonna say? Oh, on the other side, the Heroes of the Storm card back for Hearthstone is freaking gorgeous.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's animated. It spins. It's just the coolest.
It's like
thing
the only one I want now, to be honest. I think that.
Yeah, I have the Tespa one now, which is a super cool.
Yeah.
I think it's the prettiest one they put out. It's kind of a pain that not everyone gets to have it, but this will be my go-to.
You don't like the cupcake one from last month?
I'm okay with it. It gets sparkles and stuff.
I don't know if I feel good about bringing that one out. I think
you don't want to bring out your cupcake?
I think about
card
it.
back?
Think about bring out my cupcakes. Anyway, so that's going on, and man, that game I played. So I bought sort of sight unseen. I did a quick practice run and then really liked what I played. So I picked up Kael'thas with this new patch for Heroes, and he's really fun to play.
I haven't messed with him yet, but I've played against him a lot, and he's pretty good.
Yeah, his I forgot the name of the bomb now. Living Bomb, which infects whoever he hits with it, and there's just nothing you can do about it. That thing's going to pop off. It does damage over time, and then a final explosion. Eventually, you can expect that thing to blow up everybody around you, and it seems a little OP at this stage. I'm not entirely sure we'll see him.
There's because when Sylvanas first came out, she seemed very OP to me as well. Mm-hmm. But I think there's a couple of things that are in play. One is that it's a new ability. It may not be tuned correctly yet, but also that people aren't really sure how to play around it or what to do to defend against it yet. And with Sylvanas at first, it was just like, wow, she can shut down enemy mercs and she can shut down enemy towers and all that. That just seems ridiculous. Plus, she's doing a ton of damage. She's a specialist. She shouldn't be doing as much damage as the assassins. Mm-hmm. But I think over time, it's like people just kind of figure it out, Yeah. It's like triple tap with Nova. I used to think that was just the best ult to take, but now I realize it's so easy to defend against once people realize how to do it. So now I never take it.
Yeah.
The game will even itself out. The players will figure it out.
I think they will too. His one ability, I can't remember the name of it. It's freaking what's the other one? What's Q?
You talking about an ult?
Q. No, it's Q.
Q. Flame Strike?
Flame Strike is really easy to get around.
Sure.
Because that thing's slow as shit. And like you hit the ground, it's like, I'm here, everybody. It's like an announcement that I'm here, but I gotta fire myself up. Okay, everyone get out. All right, it blows up, nobody gets hurt.
There's a lot of here, like if you've ever played Gazlo has the ability that just kind of builds up over time. It gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and finally you let it go, and so everyone sees it coming, and then you just get out of the way of it. There's a lot of stuff like that in the game, but you can still do it effectively. You just have to catch people off guard and lead people a little bit, and it's just a little more planning out.
When you're used to attending the Church of Tassadar, which lately I've been doing a lot of. His Psionic Storm is kind of the same thing, but the effects are immediate. So as soon
you
as
get a little bit of damage, but you don't get the full effect.
Right. You hit that thing, and you get them, and then of course you can augment that. But man, for me, it's all Thrall and Tassadar these days. I freaking love those guys. Anyway. Little update in Heroes.
You should try Vala. I think you'd like Vala a lot. Vala just does a bunch of damage.
Yeah, I play her a bit. She's like level 8.
You get out and you get in, and you're always like bobbing and weaving a little bit because you're kind of squishy.
She's a harasser.
Man, do you do damage.
She's a harasser from hell. She can bug the hell out of you and make you pissed. I mean, they're teams that if you play her right, she'll incite a lot of anger, and she can get out of there so quick. Her escape move, essentially, her vault is really hard to contend with. But her holy angel skin was on sale for $5. Yeah, I went ahead and bought that too, like some kind of weirdo. Anyway,
I'm wondering if we're going to see any changes to their model, because their model works pretty well because the game is super fun and everything is just like it just feels like you just want to. I just want that. Like I don't need it, whatever. I just want it.
Yeah. And
I'm
wanting
having
it,
so much fun playing the game anyway.
Yeah, wanting it's tricky. Hard to get players to pay for things they want. Well, that's not true. Like in life, we buy a lot of things we want, but in games, we're more skeptical. They've overcome that for me. I don't have a problem saying, "Ooh, that tiger, I want it." Burp. Here's $10. You know, like it's not been a problem, or it has been a problem if you look at it that way. Because I kind of have no problem throwing money at heroes, whereas I won't buy a Mount Warcraft.
You're spending a lot of time playing the game, so I don't think,
Right, but like I spent a lot of time
It feels
in WoW.
totally justified when you're playing the game this much for free already, and then something comes along you want, you're like, okay, cool.
I think you're right.
I've got this much worth.
That's the difference. That's the difference. If I'm paying $15 for WoW every month, I'm not as motivated to go spend $25 on a mount. But if I'm playing this free-to-play game and I see a rad new mount pop that really is just a cosmetic and it's $10 for whatever reason, I just feel more justified. So now, if those mounts in that game were 15 or 20 or 25, no way. I don't think I'd be nearly as quick to do it. I think
that's the thing. They have to find the correct price points on all these things.
Yeah. Anyway, that game's great. Freaking love it. I got an interesting email from a listener that I thought was interesting to bring up at this point of the show, and we'll do it real quick. It's from Bwub is his name. Says the MC reboot is often used as evidence to support the you think you know blah. I can't talk. You think you want that, but you really don't argument that Blizzard tosses around willy dills nilly. He says. To the contrary, I think Warlords of Draenor MC is a perfect example. What does he mean when he says MC? It just occurred to me.
Molten Core.
Oh, Molten Core, duh. Yeah. Was a perfect example of the negative effects of removing virtually all the barrier to entry. In my opinion, the experience is more important than the content itself, and the experience seems to be something that cannot be recreated or in the current WoW, and this is why there was a groundswell around private servers. Would love to hear you guys discuss. What do you think about that theory? That
I think there's definitely something to it.
Yeah. What do you think, Patrick?
I think it's wrong.
Oh, look at this. All right, but contrary, okay. Patrick. That never happens. Never happens. Okay, go.
Well, first of all, I don't know that there is a groundswell around private servers. I mean, is there that much interest in playing vanilla WoW compared to before? I
don't think there's like 7 million people who want, but I think there is a certain amount of people who really want this. And
for sure,
they're on like the subreddits and stuff talking about it, and they want to be able to play. Just BC
there
the way
has
BC
always,
was.
Yeah, but this would be the same.
There has always been people saying that they want it. But I mean, I'm sure Bwub, who is the person who sent us this email, would prefer that kind of thing. But what he's talking about specifically is the barrier to entry removal. Essentially, for Molten Core, if you weren't playing back then, there was an enormous barrier to entry. You had to go through a very long series of quests and a lot of grinding to get your reputation with the right faction and to get the items that you needed to gain entrance, to gain access to the raid zone. And you needed to get a tune. That was a very big thing in MMOs, and it serves a purpose. It gives you, first of all, it gives you something to do, and then it allows for people to be ready. Usually, when they enter the thing, you're sure that they have a certain amount of experience with the game, but not the level of barrier to entry you needed for Molten Core, or even for Karazhan back in Burning Crusade, which was a lot lower than you needed for Molten Core already. They had made it easier. It was discouraging. And Dills, you were saying not an hour ago that you were tired of having to grind reputation.
Oh, absolutely. But I think that there's both sides of the story. Like, I'm tired of it. Most people are tired of it. But I'm not going to say that some people don't want it, and some people do want it. Some people wanted to, and I remember getting a tune for Karazhan, right? Like we had to go get whatever. It wasn't that tough,
right?
It wasn't like Molten Core was. But then I remember once I had it, going in there and being like, "Yeah, I did that, awesome," and like that did kind of feel good. But to me, I don't want to do it again, and I personally don't. But I can't argue that the way I like it is the way everyone should like it. Yeah. So
no, but then you can't have an opinion about anything because there's always going to be someone that disagrees.
No, I have an opinion, but I also think that it's okay for people to want these private servers because they don't get in the way of anybody else.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing about private servers.
That's not the argument, though.
But then, hang on one second. Let me just say this: the private server problem is this. To say there's a groundswell of interest in private servers in WoW is like saying there's a groundswell of interest for somebody to go hack an old Super NES ROM of Link to the Past and convert that to HD today. Is there interest in that? Yes. And are people doing it? Absolutely. Is it a groundswell? Hell no.
No, not a groundswell.
It's like 5 people, or in fact, I'll bet there are more people interested in that Link conversion than there are people interested in vanilla WoW. I said it. All right, Patrick, sorry, go ahead.
Well, I think the argument that, again, Bwub is making is that actually people would be the player base of WoW, and maybe I'm misunderstanding his argument, but he's saying that the player base of WoW would be happier if you brought back these kinds of barrier to entry for raids and basically making the game more difficult. I think that's what he's saying, and I disagree with that assertion.
Yeah, no, I think what he's saying is that there are negative effects to this, to not having a barrier at all. And those negative effects are people dip their toe in and then never do it again, right? Whereas if you worked really hard to get in there, you would then feel like I need to then now go ahead and continue doing it. Really kind of milk the experience for all it's worth. But I don't think you can use Warlord's version of Molten Core for this argument, because it was never meant to be something that you did a bunch of times to grind for gear and stuff like that. It was meant to be something you go in, do it one time to, remember.
Right.
And then get your Core Hound mount and then never do it again. That was really what it was.
Here's what I bet you would happen to me if I joined a vanilla server today. I would go, ooh, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I remember. Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm in now. Why does this look like shit? What happened over there? Oh, that's right. I don't have that thing anymore. I have to buy arrows. I'm out.
Yeah.
That's what would happen, because that's what nostalgia is. It's this thing. I mean, there's always exceptions, but it's this thing that tells you everything was better then. And then you go, if there's a way to create then, you're reminded, no, Molten Core was terrible. It was not good.
But you right now, if you think back on those days, you remember the good times and you don't remember all the stuff that really sucked, right? And then if you get reminded of the things that really sucked, then you go, oh yeah, those things really sucked.
Yeah.
But like I downloaded all these old, NES and N64 games, and I was super excited about them, and I played them all. And I had fun for 5-10 minutes, and then I was like,
cool. Like, oh yeah, there's a reason we moved past some of this.
Yeah, and it's fine. And I liked it, but I also kind of wish that I hadn't ruined the nostalgia, because now I can't look at GoldenEye and think that game was just the best shooting game of all time. I went back and played it, and I was like, wait, it aims for you?
Yeah.
This is stupid.
It was a weird... that's a great example. GoldenEye is maybe one of the best examples. It just felt like this... And it was groundbreaking. Let's not... let's not give it the credit it doesn't deserve. It's just that we very quickly learned from what that was and went on. And when we went on to was better and better and better. And then if maybe there's a dip here and there, but it's still better.
I don't mind like a small amount of attunement, but it used to be overblown. I think that if you just have to finish a storyline or something, just to kind of understand what the story is that you're entering, I think there's something to be said for that. And I get that kind of sense of we should kind of know what we're getting into before we get into it, right? Whereas now people no one reads quests, no one does anything.
Yeah.
Oh, this is the new
no
raid,
one ever
give me
read
the purple
quests,
stuff.
but...
Sure, but I mean, you were kind of forced into a little bit of it when you had to do, especially when you didn't have just a dot on your map that said this is where to go do the thing.
Yeah, and
everyone was using add-ons.
Quest Helper, I know.
No, it's all true. But even in vanilla, I don't know if you guys remember this. I remember this. Very early, you couldn't turn on the instant text in a quest. It would write itself out. You'd hear the little pen on paper going the whole time, and you had to wait in order to accept it. So they kind of were trying to make you read it, and then they added that option, and that kind of went away. But yeah, I mean, whatever.
That was the first, Scott. That was the first thing that they made to make WoW a baby MMO.
That was the very first step. Yeah, that's right.
The first, if we could go back in time,
Yeah.
If we could go back in time and, obviously, first of all, go kill Hitler. And then, although we could have a debate about that.
Yeah.
But then the next thing we would do, we would go into the room where, there was all of the devs and Pardo and everyone. And they were like, should we make the text, the quest text instantaneous? And you're like, you burst into the thing and you're like, no.
Yeah.
and you like throw pizza everywhere, so they start thinking about something else.
They go, this guy throwing pizza around must be reputable. We should listen to this guy.
Yeah. I read every, by the way, remember, I don't know if you guys remember on the show, I said I'd do it, and I did it. I read every quest text that was in this new expansion. So all those 10 levels, I read every single one.
How much did you actually digest and remember now?
Well, that's an entirely different conversation, because I think I retained the core of it, right? But
you retain it while you're doing it, and you get the gist.
And most of the stuff I retained.
Did you enjoy the game more?
I did. I think I did. As at the time I was playing
it. Too when I read it.
And I think it enhanced. Okay, so here's what it enhanced for me. When there was a big cutscene, something more visual and more movie-like or whatever, it was enhanced by what I had read up to that point. So I actually think it benefited my enjoyment of my time, and it was also a good exercise for me because I am notoriously short attention span these days, and I didn't want to. I usually I'm like, no, just do it. I know I got to go get 10 things. Just, I don't care about your flavor text. So it forced me to slow down, to not be Mr. Scatterbrain, and actually try to get my brain to be a little more like it was when I was 15 or something.
It could do full on SWTOR.
Right. Oh my gosh, yeah.
You don't read anything, man. We just tell you. The guy comes out and starts talking.
I reinstalled that because I heard that if you
I did too, actually. I did last night.
I just did the other day.
I did last night, though, not because of anything I heard, but because I'm just excited for the new movie.
Yeah, me too.
I want to be in Star Wars.
There's a lot of Star Wars stuff, and so there's ways to feel that in there for sure. But I got in thinking, oh, yeah, someone said you can power through all of the single-player story missions and get like 75% more XP and never have to do a side mission. And I thought, well, I could actually get into that. Like, it'd be fun to go do a character I never did. And then I got in and found out that you can only do that if you're a month-to-month subscriber. And I said, oh, well.
So they upped the XP for
So you'd only have to do story missions.
Pay to win. Forget that.
And never and never touch a side quest without a cutscene, basically. It's what it came down to. So
I'm going to go in there and I'm going to free to play that thing up. And
I want to see what's up in there a little bit.
I'm not in there to do anything. I'm not in there to like level. I just want to go in and just be. I want to be a Jedi for a little while.
Yeah,
yeah. And then I'll get bored again. I'll leave.
Sure, fine. That's probably what I'll end up doing. I did a Jedi as well. That's funny. I'm feeling. Yeah, anything with Star Wars right now, I'm just kind of like, yeah, I'll do that. It doesn't matter what it is.
When you get excited about some specific IP, it's
the way it is. All right, what else we got here? Oh, Patrick, you're back into Diablo. What?
I am. Woo-hoo! That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
It's for some reason I don't even remember why, but a couple of weeks ago I launched Diablo again, and I think something clicked when I understood that the set pieces that you get are actually better than your equipment, not because of the stats, but because of the set bonuses. And yes, you can try and get the perfect roll on your set piece, but I ended up getting hunting for the Tel Rasha set piece. I play a wizard, and I finally got it after a few days of grinding, and it's amazing. It feels really fun. I mean, the game is as good as it's ever been, since Reaper of Soul came out, and I've always loved D3, but even when it first came out, I never played Diablo 1 and 2, and I was sure I was going to hate Diablo 3 or, dislike Diablo 3, but I really got into it and I played 100 or 150 hours of the game. And now it's just, it's that rhythm, that thing that you get into. And Scott, you know that very well.
I love it.
Yep. But I got all of those items, and I can do Torment 6 like it's nothing. And I'm getting into, Greater Rifts. And yeah, it's one of those games. And it's like Blizzard does this better than anyone. It's games that you can enjoy for a really long time. And I understand that at some point, every single game is going to become, it's going to be the same over and over again. But it's still that amount of time before which you're going to get to that point is so long with Blizzard games, and usually you can get back to it a little bit later, and it's got to be fun again. And yeah, I'm just I was in that place with Hearthstone a while ago, and I'm in that place with Diablo now, and it's just this weird thing with Blizzard game. I don't know what sauce they put in the games, but it's always you can always go back to them and have fun.
Yeah.
So
WoW's like that.
Yeah.
This is like that. Like, you know, if all these games are
and
subscription games,
that's why I'm not worried for WoW, you know, one bit. Worst case scenario, you stop playing for a few months. Next expansion comes out, you play again. Maybe you get back into it for the full expansion. Maybe you don't, but it's always going to be there. So.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And that's, I was going to say, if all their games are subscription-based games, you'd have this same pattern with all of them to whatever degree. There'd be coming and returning. It's just nice to know it's always going to be there for you. You go off and try a little Star Wars game for a while, decide it's not for you. Ooh, I'm itching for WoW because I missed the things it did right, so I'm going to come back. It's just the way this goes. Accept it, embrace it, love it. Also, they're doing a cow level thing. Yeah, that's happening today or this week or something, isn't it? What's happening? I don't even know what's happening.
It's the third anniversary of Diablo. Can you imagine 3 years of Diablo?
Wow.
And of Diablo 3, of course.
Yeah.
And so they added a cow level. I haven't been blessed enough to visit it yet, but I'm hoping I will.
For D2,
it's kind of silly, you know. If anyone who knows the Diablo lore knows that there's a lot of there's importance in the Cow King and his cow hordes, and there has not been a cow level in Diablo 3 for 3 years, and they were playing with this, saying, you know, one of the tips was there is no cow level, and it's become almost a meme level thing in Diablo. And of course, they had the Whimsy Shire, which was the unicorn and teddy bears level, which was really fun.
Basically, this generation's cow level is what that is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And now for the anniversary, they're putting in apparently a limited time cow level for a week. So if you want to experience that, you should play now. But it's minor.
It won't listen. It won't be like Molten Core where you regret going back and reliving some of your glory D2 days. It'll be fine. It'll be a good time. So go check it out. Yeah. Finally, this is just a small hint moving forward, but I am going to organize a Frog Pants tournament in Heroes of the Storm. And it will involve a lot of personalities from shows you know and like, a lot of fans, a lot of people who just play with us. I think I've got my dream team all picked. The only person I haven't asked formally yet is Blizzard, or is Dills over here, because I'd really like him on my team because he tends to dominate in that game.
Yeah, I'm down.
So I'm doing it all in public like this so other people can't try to poach you.
Ah, I see.
There's been some poaching, some efforts in a couple other teams. It's all we're basically being like pro wrestlers. We're all doing this for good fun, but there's a lot of smack talk going on right now between myself and.
I'll tell you one thing, Mean Gene. I'll be on your team, Scott.
Listen to this, brother. So we're very excited about it. Details soon. There'll be a way for you to sign up your own teams and be involved in this. I'm not sure how many we'll start out with, but we're going to have a load of fun with it. More details to come. So. Pay attention, stay tuned. All right.
By the way, the actual BlizzCon Heroes tournament, anybody can sign up.
Yeah, right.
You don't have to, like in the Hearthstone one, you have to win these points and stuff. Mm-hmm. You just sign up for this tournament. You'll probably get eliminated if you suck, but that's fine.
Yeah,
at least you can try.
Yeah. I was thinking
have to earn a bunch of points and be like #1 ranked in Hero League or something like that. You can try.
There were 3 games last night with some of the core people I play with all the time, and we decimated the first 2 organized teams, and the third team came on and worked us. But between the second and third game, I actually had these thoughts in my head of, you guys, we could totally sign up for that.
Let's do BlizzCon. Yeah, no, I was playing with Karma, who's a Hearthstone player. She's a really good Hearthstone player. So her friends, and we won, I think, like 8 or 9 games in a row, and none of them were even close.
Right.
Like, it was just pure. Like, by the end, we were just messing around. We were just like, hey, why don't I just run off and go by myself and kill this guy? Oh, I killed him. Look at that.
It's like, just leave the tribute. Nobody needs the tribute.
Yeah, it got ridiculous. Yeah. And we were like, all right, guys, road to BlizzCon. Are we all ready? You get those thoughts in your head. But then you see Heroes of the Dorm, and you see how good those guys actually are, and you're like, oh, never mind.
Yeah. It might be fun to be eliminated and at least say you tried.
So just be in the tournament.
Yeah, why not?
I'd be in.
Game's so great. Anyway, that's going to do it for that. Let's do a couple of quick town criers.
Hear ye, hear ye.
Why, it's the Town Crier.
As always, Town Crier comes to us via email and phone calls. We're doing just phone calls today. Those come to us at 801-471-0462. That's 801-471-0462. Or you can email us attachments and or comments to theinstance@gmail.com. We haven't had a question about the movie for a while, so here's one now.
Hey, this is Robin calling from up in Alberta, Canada. Hey guys, love the shows. Do you guys think the Warcraft movie will have any kind of tie-ins to the game at the time of its release? Have a great day.
All right, you guys, what do you think? There going to be any big crossover between the game?
They're going to sell Blizzmeebos at every single theater. That I don't know if that's. I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
You don't think so? Like, not even kind of I mean, there'll be some kind of nod to it.
Well, there'll be a nod in the game to the movie, yeah. But I don't think there's going to be like a big.
What do you think, Patrick? They're going to make a big shmoo about having the movie in the game?
I don't know. Well, yeah, I'm sure there's going to be a nod. Although, the timeline is interesting because they're doing basically the first orc invasion, right? Yeah. And is the Iron Horde kind of going to, once they reclaim their power, are they going to invade? Or I don't know.
You think they're trying to time something in the game? That would be weird.
I don't know.
Maybe
cool. It's gonna be. Maybe we're gonna see. The in that new WoW universe, we're gonna see the characters from the movie in the next expansion. I don't know, but it could happen.
How about if you go see the movie, you get a code on your ticket, and then you come back to WoW and you type in your code and you get like a mount or something.
Be all right, right?
I think we'd all go see the movie anyway.
Well, yeah.
But Blizzard seems to be doing these things where they're just like, we're just rewarding you for doing all the Blizzard things.
Yeah.
Like with the hero stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe there's going to be. Well, I don't know. I don't know how closely the movie team and the game team, like the actual developers, are working. Maybe there could be, some of the designs from the movie that get integrated into the game for, some incredible mounts or, something.
Well, we know Chris and the creatives are working very closely with them, but that's not the same, I guess.
Of course,
yeah, as the devs and the designers.
But on the other hand, I don't know if you saw it, Scott, but there was a tweet a couple of days ago, which I retweeted to you from Gary Whitta, who was working on the script back when Sam Raimi was in the running. Well, he was directing it, and there was a really silly moment where Leroy was appearing in the movie, and he would actually rush headfirst into battle against orcs and breaking ranks. Basically, it was Private Leroy, and Private Leroy would run into the orcs yelling Leroy, of course. And that felt very weird and, kind of silly. And I was sort of happy that this is probably not going to be into the actual movie. It feels like both products should be completely independent, thought of as their own thing. And yes, you can have a nod here and there, but that Leroy thing was way too much.
If it's big shoehorned in, then yeah. But let's say there was a scene where they were just gathering troops together and they're like, all right, we got everybody, and then thanks for that message, Private Jenkins, and then he leaves. What if it was that? That'd be okay, right?
Maybe. I mean, we'd all get it and stuff. I think
if we just get it and it's okay, that's fine, but I don't want it to be if he runs into battle yelling Leroy, then that's dumb.
Here's my guess. There is a reason why Sam Raimi and Gary Whitta are no longer on the project. That's all I'm saying. And I'm not saying they got fired. I'm saying that sensibilities were just probably not right. I think Blizzard wanted to take this seriously, and they don't want to be too self-referential.
And make suddenly he cuts off his own hand and it starts attacking him, and Thrall's hand is attacking his face, and you're like, come on, dude, really?
Right.
And so this is why it's. I'm not sure about the tie-ins. Maybe subtle ones, but usually if you do the two things in together, it might you have to compromise in order for some things to work, and thematically it could have similarities, but I still want the priority should be on making each product its own thing and making sure you do what's best for that product.
I agree. However, here's your scene.
To be subtle.
Here's your scene. You need to have a hunting party. It's all humans, right? And they're out shooting, I don't know, baby whelps or something. And you don't say anyone's Leroy Jenkins or Sergeant Jenkins or any of him yelling and running into the fray. Forget about all that. It's just they're all shooting, and everybody's hitting whelps except this one guy who shoots a chicken and then says, Well, at least I got chicken.
At least I got chicken. Yeah.
yeah. Like, we were trying to get whelps. Well, at least I got chicken.
That's it. More dots. All right.
There you go.
Get the more dots
I'm okay
guy.
with that. Yeah, we could do some more dot stuff.
That could
you
work.
can do all that stuff. It just has to be subtle. It can't be be on the nose. It's got to be,
What the F you gonna do? A guy will yell and start screaming dots. That'll be good. All right, we got one more call, and
just a guy with that accent. That's all you need.
Oh, I completely agree. Do we even know the origin of that guy's accent? I freaking loved it.
Oh yeah.
What was it?
Yeah.
What was it?
I don't remember, but yeah, he gave interviews. He was well known for a while.
Yeah. Wonder what he's up to now. Oh. Maybe he's in old folks' home painting things and yelling more dots.
He's the hardcorest of hardcore, so he's playing like Eve.
Yeah, probably. Those guys. All right, here's one last question. It's a nice light one. Here you go.
Hey, Scott, Dills, Terpster, and Patrick. Annex the Hunter of Tichondrus US here. With the game approaching its 11th year, what has been your favorite instance of all time? It can be a 5-man, a raid when it was current, something that was changed drastically with the Cataclysm, anything at all. If it holds a special place in your heart, I want to hear about it. Thanks.
It's all Old War all the time for me.
That really was my favorite. It's just hard to ever have a new one.
It was so varied, so unique, so different, so much fun the way you would turn on hard modes and not.
I think that's to me what it was. It was you kill something faster than you're supposed to, and suddenly it activated some harder version of it. Like I just loved all that kind of stuff. Or not killing this or not killing that. Mm-hmm. The whole thing was just really well designed. I'm sad that they've never really gone back to that method of doing it. Mm-hmm. I think though, the one that I actually did more than any other is TOC.
Oh yeah, we did that. That was a lot.
I did that. Yeah, I was doing it 4 times a week.
Yeah,
I was doing it 10-man regular, 10-man heroic, 25-man regular, and 25-man heroic every single week for a while.
Wow.
I actually really enjoyed, like, for a thing that happened all in one room. I actually had a good time the whole time.
Were you doing all those the dailies that involved you going down to the forest and getting the trees and taking?
I wasn't doing any of the actual tournament stuff. I was just doing the raid. I did the raid with 2 different teams, and I remember the first time we did. What was that? Nubarak? Was that the last guy? We had heroic Nubarak. Was so tough at the time, and shooting the balls of ice down from the ceiling and everything. That was my job as the hunter. You had to do that a few times.
Oh yeah.
It was a tough fight. It was fun, and we did it at like level when it was still we were like one of the first few, not at all close to the top, but in our server we were one of the first. Like,
we were doing all right. Yeah, we did pretty good, and I remember hating the PvP like fight. And then loving it later because we mastered it so hard.
Yeah, it sucked for a long time, but then because it was so chaotic.
Yeah, it was crazy.
But the chaos was actually kind of cool because the fight always felt a little different. But
no, everything about Northrend and its expansion out there and the way they handled all that TLC, I thought that was. I didn't even like the jousting stuff. That all got real boring for me. But the feel of that, the feel of everything in that expansion nailed tone. Like the tone of Wrath of the Lich King still sticks with me all the time.
Yeah.
I don't go to Northrend enough just to hang out.
It's hard to say that like just one of them was my favorite. They're favorites for different reasons, right?
Yeah. What do you think, Patrick? What's your favorite?
I have. Sorry.
So I was going to say I was asking you what's your favorite.
Oh, I think it's really difficult to choose one instance like game mechanics wise but I think the thing that stays with me is the firsts, and Karazhan was the first time I actually did what was considered a raid, even though you had 10-man possible 10-mans in vanillas that were regular dungeons, but they were so difficult you would go and do them with actually 8 people, not 10, because you wanted to have one of each class for loot. There was Magtheridon, which was the first time I did a 25, and that entire quest that allows me to this day to have the Hand of Adal title. And then I guess the ICC, because we almost had Arthas. We brought him down to like, I don't know, 50. When did he start his phase 3?
It was at 10% is when he's
10%,
actually
right.
dead at 10%, right?
Yeah.
Right. So we brought him to phase 3, and we thought we could do it, and it was one of those 5, 6, 7, 10 attempts, and we were all tired, and it was like a week before the release of Cataclysm. and we were, or before the patch that would make it so you wouldn't get the title anymore, or no, it was the release of Cataclysm. And I was telling the people on Vent, I was like, guys, we need to do it, because if we don't do it now, we won't get back to it. We had like 3 days left. And they were like, no, let's just stop now and come back fresh on in 2 days, and we'll do it, and we'll get it. I was like, I knew that we were never going to do it. I knew that, the guild was very casual. I knew we wouldn't get back together to do it. And it broke my heart that we had to walk away from this, knowing I had to walk away from it, knowing that I would never kill Arthas in the raid. So that's a sort of a bittersweet memory from ICC, but I'm still very happy I went all the way to him.
For the life of me, I cannot figure out why his hero in Heroes of the Storm doesn't include Defile. Like, why is that not an AoE, like, something?
Totally I just poured my heart out. I was making everyone cry in the audience, and people were like, oh, that's heartbreaking, Patrick. I feel for you. And you're like, heroes, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. I kind of just...
It's very heartbreaking is no Defile in Heroes,
right. No, you make a good point. Oh, Patrick, I'm so sorry. Anyway, Heroes... Yeah, I understand. I think a lot of people center on that encounter as a big deal. There's many of them. We always love hearing yours, so if you guys want to send more in, you can email us and let us know your favorite moments in WoW at the instantshow@gmail.com. That's it. That's everything. That's the show. Oh, and those phone calls came to us, 801-471-0462. Leave a message. We'll play it on the show. Let's get the hell out of here. Who's got something to tell us? Let's see. Dills, you have anything cool planned this week? What's going on?
Actually, this weekend I'm going to be playing golf literally the entire weekend. So no stream. I'm sorry. No stream at all.
You going to have some zinc on your nose or anything to keep the sun away from?
Probably no. I'll probably just burn.
Because you're a white man like me. So
got to remember to reapply at the 9th hole. That's what I got to do. But yeah, there's actually going to be a guy from a golf related magazine going to be out at our tournament for the MGA, so there might be a spread at some point in a golf magazine, which would be cool.
That's really cool.
So I'll let everybody know when that happens.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But other than that, not a lot of video game stuff. If anybody is in the San Francisco Bay Area, I should put this out there. If anybody's in the San Francisco Bay Area and you want to do a Magic draft with me, we're doing a special Magic draft on Tuesday night at game night. There's, I think, only like 4 slots available. So tweet at me if you want to come, so I know, and I can maybe reserve you a spot. That's a standard Magic draft. I think we're gonna be doing like 2 packs of Fates, 1 pack of Dragons or something, and it'll be $15. And we're doing it at game night on Tuesday night, and we're just gonna do a nice little short one. Keep the cards. There's gonna be prizes for the winners, all that kind of stuff. So
very nice.
Come on out.
All right, check it out. Dills, or I just said Dills. Hey,
I'll tell you some more. Let's see. So I'll also be.
Patrick, how about you? How much Heroes of the Storm are you going to play this weekend?
I might have to play in the end a little bit more than I thought, because I want that those mounts, no, not the mounts, but the card back in Hearthstone.
Yeah.
So
you gotta get to level 12 only. It's
that's how they get you.
Yeah, it's not that hard.
That's how they get you. Plus, it'd be fun. Is that game region locked? I don't know if we can play.
Yeah, it is. All of them are. It's terrible.
Damn it. All right, fine.
But once the game is out, you can have an EU and NA account.
Yeah, but then you have to level both, and it's
true.
True.
No,
I have an EU Hearthstone account that I actually play.
Oh yeah. Well,
you actually play it?
That's because you're a freak.
But I
aren't we friends?
I don't know. But I play Arena essentially every now and then just to like gain cards. That's all I really do on it. And I get to rank 20 just to get the card back, and then I log out.
What he's saying is he's just sniping these loser, horrible UK players, EU players that suck.
With my free-to-play account, though, I don't have any cards.
That's true. Hey, you're playing it the way the game was made, so you're all right.
Play that Face Hunter deck, Scott. It works like a charm.
Anyway, sorry, Patrick. So what are you doing? What's going on?
Right. Right. Plugging stuff. So Pixels, go listen to Pixels. If you don't, then I will be very sad. And you remember how you felt when you were listening to my horrible tale of me missing the Arthas kill in ICC? Well, that's how sad I will be if you don't go listen to Pixels. It's on FrenchSpin.com. It's a show about video games, and it's super fun. It's really good, and it's a summary of everything you need to know from the past 2 weeks from the gaming industry, with a little bit of analysis sparkled in. Did I say whiz a little bit?
A little bit of whiz, yeah, a little whiz, sure. Yeah.
Whiz a little bit. And so, yeah, go listen to that, or not you, but I will be sorry. And you don't want to make me sorry.
No, don't make Patrick sorry. Yeah, he'll turn green and get big.
It's all sad stories without Scott interjecting and just crapping all over it.
Although, speaking of that, we thinking on E3 week, Patrick and I should do a little Boop Pixels crossover fun. And
I might be game.
I think we should do that. Maybe even.
I think you got to call it Boop, though, right? I mean,
we might do maybe a live commentary track of us watching some of the pressers and all that. So we'll talk about it.
Well, I'm definitely I'll be in Finland, but I'm definitely going to be watching them and trying to do something about commenting at least some of them. So
you know what's great about Finland? You can. So if it's on TV or screens or whatever, the best part is you can see through all the people in front of you because they're all translucent like baby fish.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you can do a presentation with everyone, and you don't need to elevate the back of the room because, that's perfect.
You can see their little hearts beat. They're like those weird planet Earth creatures they find in caves with no eyeballs. It's really weird. Anyway, but your wife's awesome. She's not the same as the rest of them. Anyway, what was my point? Oh, that's it. Yeah, so we'll do that. Watch for that. I'm very excited. E3 week's always fun. That's in June, and we're looking forward to it. Finally, thanks for all your comments about our little Avengers spin-off review last week. People really enjoyed it. Some people were terrified that we did it the whole show. I'm like, no. We segmented it out. It's fine. It's all good. That turned out pretty good. What else is going on? Find all the goings on over at frogpants.com. If you want to catch Terpster more frequently than you do on here, you might check out hypotheticalhelp.com. We are 2 episodes into the brand new launched show. You can catch that at hypotheticalhelp.com. Links to iTunes and wherever your podcasts are found. That stuff is all there. I think that's everything else. Something else is going to bring up. Well, if anyone at Blizzard listens who's on the Heroes team, if you want to pitch in any prizes for our tournament, I'm all ears. I think that's going to do it for us. For me, for Patrick. Oh, wait. You also go to theinstance.net. That's their website. Instant Show on Twitter. Scott Johnson, Willie Dills, _T, not Patrick. Those are all Twitter names. Big thanks to Matthew Oxley for our amazing theme and for our intern, Paul Swickard, who keeps the website running. And more shows like this at frogpants.com. That'll do it for us. For me, for Patrick, and for Dills. We'll see you next time.
Bye, everybody.
Bye now.
Bye.
Let dick.
Whoa.
That was like DJ Scott.
Yeah. We didn't mean that.
Spin in that T.
Le dick. Wiki.
Le dick.
Good episode today, man. Have fun, everybody. Sorry it went a little long, but have a fantastic day.
You too.
Let's hook up later. Bye now.